Now, the news for South Mississippi. WLOX News this week.
Gas prices on the rise again. Hear the latest on what's fueling the increase in what you pay at the pump. And thanks so much for staying with us, everybody. Gas prices on the rise again. That after almost 100 days of dropping prices at the pump. The increase fueled by a cut in oil production by OPEC and a variety of other things. Joining us now with his insight, oil and gas expert, Jay Young. Jay, it's always good to see you. I don't know about what's going on in Texas where you are, but we're up nearly 30 cents a gallon just here in Mississippi over the last couple of weeks. What is behind this? And I know there are a lot of different things, but what's public enemy number one on this?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what's happening is demand. It's all about supply and demand. Obviously, that is exactly the reason why price goes up and down. And what you're seeing right now is we are trying to get there as best as we can from a supply side in the United States without all the different hurdles. I mean, we've had so many hurdles during the Biden administration because of, he came in and he wanted to do fossil fuels, do away with fossil fuels. Well, that doesn't mean the demand's gone. The demand's still going to be here, and it's going to be here for a long time. We're doing the best we can with the supply side, but the demand is starting to go up, and especially around the world, it's starting to increase a lot. China's got 300 million people right now, and they're on bicycles, getting ready to go on cars when this coronavirus goes off. We're going to have a global demand for oil that's going to go through the roof.
Now,
we're not going to have the oil.
Now, Jay, I want to seize one thing with you, and you talked about demand, and a lot of people may not understand the law of supply and demand, but the high summer demand has basically fallen. So how does that affect the price of gasoline? Some people would think it would be the opposite, that it would go down.
Yeah, well, you'll see too that OPEC cut us off for 2 million barrels a day last week, and after the midterms come out, the elections, what's going to happen there with the strategic reserves minus 1 million barrels a day? We're not going to have the supply that we thought we had artificially with this strategic reserve, which we've been draining, and we're just not going to have the supply necessary. Demand's up, supplies down, and all of a sudden, price goes up.
And we know about the what's going on with OPEC Plus. We now have to say OPEC Plus because Russia is a part of OPEC, and Saudi Arabia is playing hardball. President Biden went to Saudi Arabia to beg the Saudis for more oil, and then there's a game of global politics going on. Saudi Arabia says now, no, we're cutting 2 million barrels a day.
Yeah, it's not good. That's not good. And I'm not necessarily a mathematician, but when the United States needs 20 million barrels a day, that's our appetite, as George Bush used to say. Our addiction to oil is 20 million barrels a day. That's the demand cycle. And when you don't have the supply necessary, or when you're cut off, I mean, think about that. 10% of our barrels are going away just because OPEC says we're not going to supply you. Because Biden was over there saying, hey, will you give us more oil at less prices? And I guess they just thought about it. And they said, well, hey, why do we want to sell more of our product for less money? That doesn't seem to make business sense. Even if Biden could do something on the back end to make it good for them, it didn't happen. So we're being cut. Where our supply needs to increase. We need to go back to drilling. The drill days are gone. We need them back because we do need a lot of oil in the United States. Therefore, our prices would come down.
And also, we understand the Saudis have reported that President Biden basically asked them to wait till after the midterm elections, so to cut that production. And that just goes to show really how even more political than we ever imagined it is. So what do you see for the rest of the year? Yeah,
it's not good. You'll see prices start to fluctuate, but I do believe, when you're looking at $4 gasoline, $3.50, $4, I believe in the first quarter of next year, into this year, first quarter next year, I believe we're going to be at $5 a gallon by the end of by summertime next year. So plan accordingly with your summer vacation next year. I'm sorry, it's just not going to get it's not going to get better anytime soon.
All righty. Jay Young, always appreciate you getting us up to speed on what's happening with supply and demand and oil and gas here in America and around the world. Thanks so much for being with us on the coast, Jay.
Thank you very much.